stock car showtime. Gill going to lead us down into turns 1 and 2. A little tight on the bottom. Here comes Casey Schillem. Will go 3 wide on the initial time down the back straightaway. Off into turns 3 and 4. Schillem will ball out there. Now it'll be a 3 wide battle for the caution flag down the back straightaway. To the green we go. We'll skip him off into turns 1 and 2. Gage Neal, the big mover and groover, on the initial hole shot, working up inside of the top handful. We'll work him down to turns 3 and 4. 2 by 2, the top 4 cars. And it starts to break out. We'll work him back to the stripe. Greg Gill leads the lap number 1. John Schultz in the number 2 spot. Regan Merkus going to back her in there deep. He'll lose a spot to Gage Neal. Try to gain it back down the back straightaway. Side-by-side battle. That's for the 4th and 5th positions. Here comes Scott Bush hunting hard on the bottom side of the speedway with Z Fitty right there in his hip pocket. Gill still your race leader. John Schultz in a side-by-side battle with Casey Schillem and Regan Merkus. Back for the number 3 spot. Oh, miles on miles crime. Cody got in there just a tick too hot. Spunked it around. The old man gave him a shot in the shorts to finish him off and collect a couple. 2 laps scored in the books, looking for 15. Greg Gill going to bring us back down to the green. It's waving. Gentlemanly down through turns 1 and 2. Gill going to get away. Good hole shot for the 28 car. As we'll work him down into turns 3 and 4. Good looking battle here. 3, 4, 5 on the speedway, working hard. Gage Neal with a big run to the outside of Casey Schillem. That's for 2. We'll square him off down into turns 1 and 2. Boy trying to ride the wave through there. It's Casey Schillem getting hung in to dry on the bottom of the speedway. Scott Bush going to bounce to the top side, looking for that number 3 spot. No, sir, not this time. 4 laps scored in the books. Greg Gill still your race leader. Gage Neal going to look to turn to the bottom now as they roll him up off of turn number 2. Eyeball test says the 12N's the fastest car on the speedway. We'll check my race pass live timing and scoring to verify. 3 wide for the number 5 spot. Josie and the Professor with John Schultz all working hard there. Merkus is involved. The 12N just ripping right through that mini cush right in the center of the speedway. Traction in the bottom of it, going to levy the left rear right up against it. Roll through the center of the racetrack. This time it'll be 6 scored and 9 to go. Gage Neal reeling down Greg Gill. Gill maybe just a tick tight from the entrance to the center as he lets it float on up, whereas Gage Neal turns right down underneath wherever he wants to put it. Halfway home this time by 7 scored, 8 to go. Gill still your race leader. Ground speed good for the B&B car number 28. Good looking turn 2 as he'll hustle down the back straightaway. 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going 2 by 2 there. As we work them back to turns 3 and 4, the back half of this one now 8 scored, 7 to go. Scott Bush up into the number 3 spot. 4 and 5's a battle. With Z Fitty and Joe's Roslick in the 2-1-1 of Jason Robbins. Casey Schillem's been relegated back to the outside of the top 5 cars. 6th position to be exact, as it'll be 9 scored this time by 6 to go. Gill, Neal, Bush, Zroslik, Robbins, top 5. Half a car length separate the front and rear bumpers of the top 2 cars. As we work them off of turn 2, the gap will widen. Car length and a half, maybe 2 down the back chute. This time by going to be 10 laps scored to the books. 5 fingers high up into the wind. Gage Neal changing the lane. Diamonds from the entrance to the turn, underneath to the center. Now underneath your race leader down into turns 1 and 2. Elbows up here as we work them off of turn 2. Gill going to hang on to it. We'll keep an eye on that line as Gage Neal going to back her in there once again. Knife back to the inside. Try to run up on the inside of your race leader. He will, and you got a new race leader at the stripe. Gill going to roll back to the outside, try to hang tough there. Good looking momentum run as he'll roll on by, and you got a new race leader. Greg Gill will reclaim as we work him down into turns 3 and 4. Might just have to slow that thing down, keep it on the bottom of the exit as Neal going to sneak on by once again. Here comes Gill, going to rock to the bottom side, give him a shot in the short, steal the line, roll back to the inside, and you got a new race leader. It's Greg Gill. We're sliding and gliding for the top 2 spots. Work them down into turns 3 and 4. Going to cross 2 flags and show them this time by 13, squared away, 2 laps to go. Gage Neal back the stripe, half a car. Back down into turns 1 and 2. Gill going to slide back to the inside of your race leader. As we'll go side by side off into turns 3 and 4. White flag set to wave this time by. This is what we're talking about. Stock cars doing stock car things. White flag waving. Gage Neal the first to it. Gill's going to fall back into the 71B of Scott Bush. We're going to go 3 wide to the bottom side of turns 1 and 2. Here comes the Professor, 3 wide for the number 2 spot. Down the back straightaway, 1 final time. Off into turns 3 and 4. Gill going to give a big shot to the inside. Will it be enough? No, it won't. Gage Neal double checkers. Greg Gill, Jason Robbins, Scott Bush, Joe Zroslik, top 5 cars. Stock cars doing stock.